So Confucius has an internationally famous name because his impact is so immense. So more formally, this Latinized version of his name could be translated as respected Master Confuci. He is, as I'm quoting this scholar, the thinker whose sayings, that's what analects means, sayings or conversations, has probably exercised a greater influence on the history and culture of the Chinese people than any other work in the Chinese language. That's a big deal. So not only is it an influence on the Chinese people and Chinese history, but also on other countries within China's sphere of influence. So Confucius and Confucianism have influenced Korea, Japan, Vietnam. And one thing that's important to know is that his thoughts become adopted in the Han Dynasty around 100 BCE by Emperor Wu as the official ideology of the Han Dynasty. So they were regarded as repositories of knowledge of how the empire had been governed in the great moments in the past and how the government and society should be ordered in the present, right? So we can speak of imperial Confucianism as a system of attaining office where people will get positions in the imperial governmental system by virtue of how well they understand and demonstrate their understanding of Confucianism. Scholars who attain office will actually memorize all of Confucius's sayings. We don't do that so much anymore in education, right? But the idea that you actually have to literally know it by heart, right? That wonderful English phrase, by heart, that it's a part of you. And by heart is the perfect expression because what Confucianism is concerned about is the harmony that can be created in social relations if people, especially people in power, cultivate the qualities of a noble person. So his sayings, his conversations revolve around what it means to be a junzi, which can be translated as a gentleman. I don't love sexist language, so I did a gentle person, although women were completely excluded from this conversation and from imperial governance. A cultivated individual, and I like the kind of vernacular, a good soul. So some of the terms that come up and define the flow of his conversations are the idea of ren, which I like to think of as skill in human relations. Li, the social graces, which in Confucius's world means social rituals and knowing your place in society, your roles. Xiao is fundamental. It's translated often as filial duty, meaning the responsibility from parent to child and child to parent. So the very ancient idea back in the Shang Dynasty of a line of responsibility and care of ancestors, the dead to the living, continues in this idea that the family relations of reciprocity are the model for a good society and for good governance.